Hello. Husky's back again with NHL 18, finally. I've been kind of MIA on the YouTube front for a while now. The Chicago Blackhawks GM mode I was doing, my NHL 17 actually refused to load, so I can't even launch the game for the past maybe 2 weeks. So I just decided I was just gonna take a break, come back to NHL 18 refreshed. I've had NHL 18 since last Thursday, I think, the 8th or 7th, whenever early access came out, EA access, and then I pre-ordered the Ultimate Team version, the Young Stars, so I got it Tuesday unlocked. So I've been playing it quite a bit. This is gonna be like review of the game. I did one of these last year, but I was playing a game of Hut while I was talking. So I'm actually just gonna go through the game itself. Right off the start, I prefer this game. It's only a week old, so honeymoon phase. It's new, it's exciting, it's fresh. But so far, I enjoy this game considerably more than I enjoyed NHL 17. Just every mode that I've played is significantly improved. Hut's pretty much the same, but I'm not going to talk about Hut too much because I don't have too much interest in Hut. But right off the start, menu system completely different. If you don't have NHL 18, I'll try to explain everything that's new. This might be if you're on the fence about to get it or not. That'll be kind of what this is. I've played quite a few online games. I've played franchise games. I've messed around with the expansion draft stuff. Like I said, I've done Ultimate Team. I've done edit players. I haven't touched Be a Pro, but I think Be a Pro is the exact same, so I didn't really want to. But yeah, as you can see with the intro, the menu system's completely changed. You can pin your selected titles to your home screen essentially, and then there's a featured one, so you get 3 pins. Mine are obviously franchise mode, ultimate team, and rosters. I don't have much interest in much else. I don't play much ESHL anymore. This is just Hut garbage over here. Game modes, essentially it's the same thing as last year, except you throw in NHL 3s, which is 3-on-3, kind of like a mini game. Aside from that, it's just modifications to game modes, like franchise mode has been kind of revamped. And I'll hop into a franchise mode and show you what I'm talking about. Hockey Ultimate Team is pretty much the same, except they've added single player challenges, which help the game mode if you're not a pay-to-play player or a play-to-win player. Like, I tried not to put any money into Hut, but it's tough to build a team without money. Everything else is pretty much, like I said, not much has changed. Draft Champions is still there. There's still online versus. There's still ESHL. But yeah, my big thing is franchise mode. That's what I post on the channel. What I've been posting on the channel. It's what I'm going to continue to post on the channel. So let's hop into one that I've started. Let's pick one. I've got a couple that I've done. Let's hop into my Maple Leafs one. I think I'm a couple seasons deep here, but I just want to go over the layout and everything of the franchise mode. Because like I said, this is my game mode. This is what I play. This is what I post. This is where all of my time gets sunk into NHL. Right off the bat, completely different screen to start. It's the same. Everything's still there that was there in last year's game, but it's easier, I feel, on the eyes. Everything's very organized. The menus are quicker, which is a big thing. I'm a big fan of the menu system in this game so far. They haven't slowed it down at all. But everything else, it's all still the same things. Like, there's nothing new. Owner mode's exactly the same. Owner goals are exactly the same. I don't really care about owner mode. It's really only for moving teams. But what really impressed me about this is you won't see it because I'm already in the playoffs, but the sim speed in this game is dramatically improved as opposed to last year. I fly through seasons now. It sims. It's amazing how fast it sims. Like I said, I'm in the playoffs. My Maple Leafs aren't, but I'm in the playoffs. And it's wonderful how quickly it sims, which is a nice change of pace. It still stops pretty early. or it stops usually. I mean, stopping the simulation isn't nearly as bad. One big thing, I mentioned it in one of my GM mode videos recently, but I wanted a way to change the notification settings for like injuries and whatnot, and they have answered me. There's an NHL return. You can get the notification when he is playable or fully healed. This way you don't have to accidentally put in a playable injury guy and have him get re-injured immediately. You can have your minor league be only done by the assistant coach, so you don't have to do it. Same for the minors have their own injury thing. It's just you can turn off the scout. I don't know if you could do that last year. I think you could. I don't remember. I mean, Marami, like, it's just the injury thing is huge for me. I love the fact that I can make this so that they will only tell me when he's fully healed, so I don't have to worry about that stupid playing an injured player immediately gets them hurt again. In addition to that, like I said, it's just the GM, it just feels smoother. One big thing I have noticed with the sim engine, which is, it's not awful, I mean, it's not bad per se, but NHL 17 was a very offensive sim. Like, there were 50, 60 goal scorers. This was my second season, and I mean, you got Stamkos and Ovechkin with 50 goals, but last season we didn't have anybody crack 85 points. So I'm interested to see how simming further on will what the results it will give, because I'm okay with a bit less offensive. Maybe not. I'm not entirely sure. I'm kind of on the fence. But still, just the menu system, just the feel of GM mode, it just feels good. One other thing is edit lines. It's a little different. It's a little tougher to see, I feel. Like, I like the cleaner look, but it is a little tougher to see. And you can see the overall system is really playing a part in GM modes now. You're very rarely going to have plus 80s on the third and fourth line. I haven't, like I said, I haven't simmed very far to see progression, but Austin Matthews is a 90, he was an 88, 87? I don't remember what he was with year one. But yeah, it's just, all the menus that are quick, it's, my biggest thing with GM mode is how slow it was last season. But yeah, overall, I mean, it's pretty much the same thing. I do like the new, they changed how the playoffs are shown here. I mean, this is only the first round, so if I, oh, that's player morale. No, we'll go back. I just want to advance day. The one major downside to this is the only negative I have with GM mode so far is when you're doing the draft. And one little nice thing I will, before I go back to that, is in the top right corner you see how it says no games today. It's very nice that I like they put a daily scoreboard up in the top right. That'll really help me when I'm doing my GM videos to kind of talk about the playoffs, essentially. Kind of get an insight as to how teams are doing, how the series are going. So it's a cool little addition. I like being more immersed in the GM mode, and that helps. I mean, I know they had it before, but it was on a secondary screen or a secondary tab, and you couldn't really see it. But going back to the major downside that I had with this is, I'm just gonna go ahead and sim to it. It's the draft. Now, they did a very good job of altering the draft without breaking it. They've added later, what was it? You can find better players later in the draft. Your like top 3 are pretty much NHL ready. They changed the way that the draft looks. But one thing that they did not do, and I don't know if it was just the expansion draft that I did, talk about that too. Maybe we'll see how long this video goes. This might be a little bit longer. The Edmonton Oilers won the Stanley Cup. Wow. So 2 years in, and the Oilers are already Cup champions. Montreal won it year 1. I didn't want to set ticket prices. Go away. Come on, get to the draft. Get to the draft. I want to see if this was just an expansion draft, because when you do the 32nd team expansion drafts, essentially what you're doing. Well, I got the number 1 pick. When you do the 32nd team, you're basically just doing the expansion draft at the same time that Vegas is doing it, so you're both being accepted into the league at the same time, which happens right before the Nolan Patrick and Nico Hischier I can't remember what to say his name. Right before that draft, so you do that draft and then you start the season. So the rosters are a little funky, but that entry draft is abysmal. Like just not the quality of the draft, but like the draft screen itself. Like this screen is awful because when I get to the draft picks, like when I get to all the scouted players, it takes forever to get through players. Now, see, now it's not too bad. It might just be the expansion draft, entry draft, because it's got to load so many players. But this is still pretty slow in comparison to how the rest of the mode works. And I kind of want to take this foot kid, and I want to show you what I mean by he's only a 57 overall. So that was not a good pick. One thing, obviously, as you can see, they added overalls to the draft screen, so you can see who everybody drafts is an overall wise. Now see, this is what I'm surprised by because another thing that I need to talk about is trade offers in this game through the first 2 seasons are through the roof. There are just trades after trades after trades offered by the computer, and it's amazing. The fact that they offer you so many deals is wonderful. Now see, this is, like I said, I'm a little disappointed that the draft's this bad because the first 2 drafts you do, this is the second draft, but the first draft you do is, the first 3 picks are all like 75 to 80 overalls. Like, they're NHL ready. None of these guys are going to play in the NHL this season. And this is kind of, it's rather disappointing. But see, I mean, there's so many trades. Obviously, I mean, I didn't have that great of a season. So, and this is just a throwaway GM mode, just to play around with settings and whatnot. So let's see, 55, 50. I want to see if there's anybody that's... No, every single player is a 55 to a 58. So I'm hoping that that's not maybe this is just a bad year for a draft. But the drafts... See, this is what I mean, like, just... I get that Marlowe, like, I had a bad year, so they're going to want Marlowe, they're going to want Grabner. Yeah, this is a bunch. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and sim the rest of this. Like I said, this is a throwaway. Another cool thing that they added that I'm a fan of is Midseason Extensions. Now the only downside to that is... Nope, I didn't want to do that. Okay. Is players have to want an extension to even be offered one. So some guys don't want to talk extension. I mean, which is reasonable. Not everybody wants an extension. But they have changed my big thing. They changed this screen right here. Last season, when you hit A on a guy that was unsigned, release was the top option. Thankfully, that got changed. Can't tell you how many times that I've released players. And it would appear that the 85% trick is no more. Through the 5 seasons that I've simmed throughout the 2 GM modes, players are very reluctant to sign at 85% of what they're asking for. Now, that could be because my teams suck. Like I said, I didn't make the playoffs with the Leafs this year. I made the playoffs year 1. But year 2, we were pretty bad. But you'll get a thing that says, I don't have much interest in this team and I want to test the free agent market, and you really have to overpay for these guys. Maybe Gardner will... Let's see if he signs, because he might be one of those guys that wants to test free agent. And the free agent market in year 1, I'm going to say right now, is awful. It is absolutely terrible. There is not a single good player in the first free agent pool. It's bad. The first free agency is nothing. Yeah, see, this is what I mean. I want to test the free agent market this offseason. Maybe more cash could persuade me. Now, more cash, you have to give him a significant increase. Like, I could offer him probably $6 million and he might not sign. I'm not gonna... no, let's see. This is a review after all. This might end up just being a GM mode review, to be honest. So let's see if he signs that real quick. This is just kind of a test to see if a free agent, a guy that wants to test the free agency, how much you have to. So I'm giving him an extra $800,000, and he still didn't sign. So you really have to pay these guys if they want to test the free agency. I'm just gonna sim the free agency. I want to see who's there. It's year 2. Kind of interested. Like I said, this is just a throwaway thing. I'm not actively playing this. Max Pacioretty, Jalmerson, Skinner, Duchesne, Simmons, Eberle. Okay, so this is a significantly better free agent market than year 2 or year 1. Sorry. Cam Talbot, Bobrovsky, Mason, Mrazek, Miller. Yeah, so there's significantly okay. So there's lots of options. Talbot was a 90. Damn. Yeah. Overall, I really like what GM mode is this year. Just the way that it's laid out, the way that it sims, the speed that it sims, the little contracting. I wish they would have given us no trade clauses and whatnot. That would have been cool. But alas, we do not have it. And I'm gonna do. This is just gonna be a GM mode review video. I was gonna do the whole thing, but I'm already at 15 minutes and I only talked about GM mode. Granted, I don't play much else. The only other thing that I want to show you is the expansion draft. Now this is cool, the 32 team expansion draft, like I said, you're basically coming in at the same time as Vegas. I already created this team, luckily, so I don't have to worry about it. I'm not going to show you the team. I spent 2 hours doing that on stream, which is fucking, there we go. Quality GM name right there. So we'll select them. Boosh. And you can, that screen that I skipped by accident just now is you can customize your AHL team as well, since you're creating a new AHL team. And I believe, depending on where you put the team, I've only used this one team, and they're based out of Rockford, Illinois. So they're put in the Central, so that you've got the right divisions across the board. Right? I think should have 16 in both conferences. But I want to show you the draft screen for the expansion draft. It's a little frustrating to do. And the load times in this game are pretty nice. The only time they're slow is when you're starting in your career mode, kind of like now. But there are some downsides. Like, okay, so I'll send to the expansion draft. I'll touch base again in a few days before the draft itself to get a sense of. But see, now he doesn't actually do that. I don't get an idea of who's available until we get to the draft. I believe. It does kind of slow up when you stop sims in that screen. Yeah, so see, there's nowhere that tells you that people who's available. You just have to go into the expansion draft. And that's my major downside to the expansion draft. It's a cool feature, like I love that this is in the game. But my biggest issue, this is my biggest pet peeve, and like all of this kind of goes back to the RFA issue, where if you qualify in RFA, it takes you back to the top of the menu. I'm going to look at Ottawa's list, because I don't know who I want to pick. I have to go through all 30 teams and pick players, but I can't look at their lists until I'm at this screen. Now, let's say I don't like anybody right here. I have some ideas, but I'll hit B to go back, and it takes me all the way to the start. Now, when you're looking, if I'm doing this, personally, I just want to look at each individual team and have an idea, but every time that you look at an individual team, you back out and it takes you right to the start. That's the only frustrating, like it's a minuscule thing, it's a very picky thing, but it's just, it makes this take so much longer than it needs to. Just put me back where I was and it's so much better. I think I did this expansion draft and it took me 45 minutes just to pick my team. My team's awful, because you're picking from the same list as Vegas, minus their picks. So we'll just auto-generate picks and see what they give us. I mean, you can get some decent guys. I wouldn't draft half of these players. I mean, it's very defense heavy. Like, if you look at my defense picked, I mean, we have 11 defensemen, but Sammy Vatanen, Tyler Myers, Jack Johnson, Matthias Ekholm, Joel Edmondson, Dylan, Coburn, Carrick, Polka. I mean, there's still some pretty solid defensemen out there you can pick from. So, I mean, it's not... You can make a decent team. Trust me, it's not very good. But it's a cool feature. I just wish it's the tiny, minuscule things that I'm very picky about. Which, again, it's a personal thing. It's and you do have to be careful, because the first time I did that draft, it actually broke and none of my buttons worked. So I had to stop and do it again, and that was a little frustrating. But I think I'm going to go ahead and call this a video. Like I said, I was going to review the whole game, but I'm just going to stick with this as a GM mode video, since that is what my channel is essentially. I don't know when I'm going to start a GM video. a GM series. I still plan on doing the Kings first, but I kind of want to wait and see if any of the if there's a patch at all, see if rosters come out. I don't want to immediately hop into something and have something change. So I might just, I've been streaming a lot lately. We got my new PC, it's beastly, it's awesome. One upside of this game is playing it offline against the computer actually is fun and challenging because the AI is significantly better. So I actually will play this game offline, so we'll see if I do something with that. But yeah, my Twitch is in the description. I'm going to try to stream to YouTube a little bit too. A lot of these streams are overnight if you live in the US. That's how my schedule is because I work nights. But yeah, throw a follow at the Twitch. If I plan on doing a really long stream, like 6, 7, 8 hours, I'll post a YouTube video sometime that afternoon to give a heads up. Like I said, it's a lot of it's late nights, early mornings, because that's when I'm awake. But yeah, I like where this game is. I like the franchise mode. I'm going to spend quite a lot of hours playing this game, and I'm going to put up a lot of videos for it. I don't know when those videos are going to start. It might be a couple days, it might be a week. I'll have to wait and see. I'm going to hopefully put up a video maybe every other day, just on certain aspects, maybe do a couple of shootout videos to talk about the upcoming season. Just something to kind of get back on the YouTube groove, because it's been a while since I've uploaded on a regular schedule. And with the new game, I want to get back into it. I've been playing this, I've been playing Madden. FIFA comes out in 2 weeks, probably by that. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, as always, if you have the game and you've played it at all, let me know your opinions on it. If you do not have the game, let me know if my insight into franchise mode has swayed you or kept you away from the game. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, if you enjoyed my opinions on it, if they helped you at all, be sure to leave a like to kind of build up some hype for our transition into NHL 18. Like I said, it's a fun game. But yeah, as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time for maybe we'll get some shootout videos going. Something quick and easy.